All right, all right. Welcome back to Posting with Clarity, episode 20. Today's episode title is Say What You Mean, Not What You Think They Want to Hear. Dating and communication in your 30s, and we're listed in the 50s too.
Ooh,
I know we got some listeners in the 50s.
great. I love that. Let's talk about our
Let's do it.
communication skills. So before we start, let's talk about a fun fact because we like to
Oh,
do the fun fact.
all right.
So humans invented over 3,000 emojis because sometimes it's easier for us to send a tiny little poop emoji rather than explaining how our day went. I actually have done that before, not a poop emoji, but I have sent a sad or a happy emoji just to send that response.
Photos say a
3,000.
lot, right?
Yes.
You could say a lot with one image. And you know what's funny? You say that in the 1960s, this guy, I don't know his name, but I heard a podcast on it. He created a universal language. He
Mhm.
was trying to get the whole entire world to be able to communicate with each other.
Right.
And any language that you spoke, you could recognize certain things. And his book was on images. It was basically the first emoji book. It was like
Mm,
in the 50s and 60s.
that's
And I
great.
may be wrong with those dates. So if anybody knows, wants to fact check me, go ahead. But it said on the shelves. I think he got one country to kind of adopt it and teach it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know the name of the country, but it sat on the shelf until a lady who worked with special needs children. They had no way to help certain kids that were nonverbal, and they also couldn't use their hands
Mhm.
because they had some type of issue where
Mhm.
they just couldn't do sign language. So with that, they adopted this by making their own booklet and giving these kids a voice
That's
through
amazing.
imagery. So it's
Well, I guess it works for some people, but not in dating, I don't think. So the things that we're going to cover today is saying less, meaning more, texting versus talking, listening without trying to fix, and tone and timing.
that's great.
I know, I like
Great
that.
overview.
But first, I want to do something fun since we have a lot of listeners, or hopefully we get some listeners in. But some rapid fire
Uh-oh.
questions for Joel. Are you ready?
I guess this is new to
Okay.
me.
You ready?
So
Okay.
wait. What are the rules here? Just
Just
whatever.
quickly, whatever comes to your mind, you
Okay.
just say the answer, okay?
All right.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Black or white?
Black.
Fast or slow?
Fast.
Loud or quiet?
Quiet.
Soft or hard?
Hard.
Hands or mouth?
Hands.
In or out?
In.
Back or front?
Back.
Small or big?
Big.
Up or down?
Down.
Watch or listen?
Watch.
Okay, that was great.
Woo.
Oh, you ready? Okay, well, before we move on, let's, I mean, let's take that in a little bit. 'Cause some people may, yeah,
What were the context of those? Or do you want to do that at the end?
let's do that at the end.
Okay.
We can do that at the end. We can save that for later
All right.
because I want to know. I want to know what you were thinking on all those questions to spit it out so fast.
Dang.
Okay, so let's go into saying less, meaning more. So I think what I want to talk about is, what that means to me is oversharing or over explaining things on the first date. What do you think?
I agree. I kind of lean into the thought that get all the hard things out of the way
Mhm.
before the first meetup.
Right.
Having a conversation on the phone pre meetup is one of my kind of guides that I put in place. If
Right.
you can't hop on a phone call with me and we
Right.
talk about some things and it flows, evenly
Hmm.
without seeing each other, then what's the point of going on a date? If
Right.
it's awkward on the phone, then how much more awkward is it going to be in person? My thought process, but I feel like getting a lot of the big things out of the way, I'm okay with awkward conversation.
Oh, really? I think mine's a little different. On the first date, I think oversharing and um, those kind of things are too much for me. Actually been on the date with a couple of guys where they constantly talked about their ex-wives or their ex-girlfriends. And I'm either thinking, okay, you're not over them or you really hate your ex.
Yeah.
And, on a date, I don't wanna hear bad things about your ex.
No. I
I don't wanna hear bad things about their ex. I mean, it makes me think that their ex was a good person, they were the bad person. So in a first date, I don't wanna hear anything bad about their ex. I wanna hear good things about what's going on in their life instead of what's bad happening with their ex.
Yeah, I agree with that. Staying positive in your
Mhm.
first communication,
Right,
first date, first phone call is crucial, but also getting your point across in the best effective way.
right.
But you'll know maybe a little bit about their lifestyle if you read their profile or
Mhm.
kind of seen their Instagram or Facebook. I think those things are important too, because that'll tell you a little bit more about the fine details, like what religion they are. That's really important to make sure that you line up on your ethics and your morals and values.
Right.
And I think those are super important to get out of the way very early
Yeah, in
so that
those
you're not
sense, yeah.
caught off guard.
Of
Y-
course. I 100% believe in that because if you're, Christian and you're dating an atheist, it's not gonna work, you
Right.
know? So, okay, well, let's move on. Texting versus talking, Joel. Which one do you
I
prefer?
talking for sure.
Yeah?
I'm a verbal communicator. I'm way more effective.
Yeah.
Um, Texting can be misunderstood. It can be misconstrued. The tone, the sarcasm. A
Mhm.
lot of people are sarcastic. And if you don't throw an emoji in there to
I actually do that.
identify it, you know, I've had someone tell me in the beginning, we dated for a while
Uh-huh.
and it was cute how she did it. She said, "Hey, you need to throw more emojis in there. I don't know what
Your
your tone
feelings.
is and how
Yeah.
you're feeling. Can
Yeah.
you do that for me?" And it was direct. It
Mhm.
was nice. It was to the point. And I said, "Yeah, I sure can." And it was effective the way that she communicated that to me.
Ah,
And a lot of guys don't do that because there are some people out there on social media and they will tell you not to put a smiley face. They'll say don't use emojis at all. It shows weakness. I don't think that's true. I think your weakness is just in you and not at necessarily what you say. Like strength can come in kindness. I mean, it doesn't make you less of a man to smile,
mm.
be nice and courteous to people, and also just like be goofy and fun.
Yeah. I think with texting, you can't really see their facial expressions, like happiness and the tone of your voice. You can't see that in a text. So I prefer calling. And I would give you an example. Like when Joel and I were kind of, doing our dating thing,
Brown.
anytime he texted me, he knew that I was going to call him immediately after he sent the first text. He knew that because I can't go, let's text and text and text and text and text and text. I just don't have time for that. I want to just get it out of the way and tell you how I feel. You tell me how you feel, and that's how it
Yeah.
goes for me.
Yeah. Hear the voice,
Yes.
understanding what your days and
Yes.
like you can get a lot across just by the tone.
So if I keep texting you, it's just not, I guess I'm just old fashioned. I'd rather talk on the phone.
Me as well. It just kind
Right.
of it's like retro, bringing it back.
Yeah.
The next one,
Yeah.
let's
T-
see. List. Are we going
yeah.
to the bottom questions?
It's up.
All right, listening without trying to fix. This is this is this can be in the beginning, but this is throughout a whole relationship. I don't think it's wrong to say as a man, is this a listening moment or a fixing moment? In
Right.
a nice way. Like if you're there in a relationship, but in the beginning, guys, on the first date, don't try to fix that shit. Just listen. Listen, listen, listen. If you go to a mechanic, he's not going to just tell you what you need to do to your car. He's going to listen to what you're telling him. A good mechanic. He's going to listen to what you're saying and he's going to say, okay, thank you. Let me check it out.
Right.
And then he's going to go back and he's going to evaluate it and see if that's a vehicle he wants to work on. Because, and I'm not saying women are vehicles to work on. Good Lord, that's going to be a flip. But it's the same concept. Like just listen to what they have to say.
hmm
Because do you have no obligation to go past the first date? If you don't like what they're saying, they're, you don't have to change them. Let them be them. And they're going to show you who they are. And you don't have to fix it. You don't have to be like, oh, get a better job or you don't like your job, move on or any of those things.
Right.
Just sit in their space with them and be like, "Man, I can relate to that." It's
Right.
easy.
Right. I think that's very important with dating life right now where we get cut off. So we're having a conversation and we can't finish a sentence. And I do this actually, and I have to be very
You do.
conscious of it because
As I just did it.
you just did it. I have to be very conscious of it because I do this with everyone where they're talking and then I talk over them. So I have to be very subconscious, especially in dating, because both parties, men and women, they want to be heard. And so I think listening and being self aware and pausing for a moment to listen to them is super important.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, let's look the difference between curiosity and control. I think that comes down to you know what? I'm gonna let you answer it first. See if I
Well,
agree. I'm controlling. I'm
you
giving
are
the control of
are
I'm giving the
very
control of
controlling. You are very
I'm
controlling right
curious.
now.
I'm curious.
Curious. Difference between curiosity and control. I think that my personality, and this is what I'm taking from it, is control. I'm super independent and I'm not very curious. And I need to be mindful of that because it is very important to have that curiosity for someone and asking those important questions and giving them time to learn and know about you. Because I feel like a lot of women, including myself, we like to talk about ourselves.
I think that's both sexes, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to how you were raised, potentially, the schools you went to, it's nurture over nature.
Right.
So how were you nature or nurtured? You know,
Right.
were your parents, were they curious about your day? Did they
Mhm.
ask you good questions?
Yeah.
Were you modeled the open ending questions versus yes no questions?
Right.
And that's important on dates. Don't ask something that could be answered with a yes or no,
Yeah.
you know? And I mean, I've really focused on that. But my parents did that. So
Hmm.
it was kind of what I was shown to, you know, there's a good example, and I actually use this. It's an oil and gas, but it's post something happening, an event, and they call it the 5 whys. Ask why 5 times, and you're going to
Right.
get to the root cause of what it is. And so you don't do that to a date, but it's the curiosity to say, you know, are you working on anything exciting these
Right.
days, like at work? What's something that like really sparked your interest in that field? And let them
Right.
go into it. Wow, that's interesting. Is that something you've always wanted to do? Where you modeled that? Oh, yeah, my dad was an engineer. So, like, kind of following your father's footsteps. How was your relationship with him? Were y'all pretty tight? It,
Yeah.
you know, it just it lets you get to know them and where they've come from. If you can just keep going a little bit, but also giving space for them to ask you
Respond.
back. Well, what about you? What are you excited about right now?
So both parties have to ask questions, not one sided. So we both need to be curious and not take control of the whole conversation, is what I'm taking from it.
Yeah. And
Right.
you can model that in a good, effective partner. And this is kind of a judgment that you can have how the date's going.
Right.
If you model something and they mirror you, then you and that person potentially the start of it is good communication and
Hmm.
they're picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
And if they model it and ask you right back, then like that's a green flag to me.
Exactly. That is a very green flag for me because effective communication skills is a huge green flag. Okay. Tone and timing. I think we've kind of hit
What are you
that
talking about?
tone. Am I screaming that loud enough? Tone.
Did you hear my tone?
Tone.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I don't like that tone. Can you change your tone, please?
Yes.
So, why, how, and when you say something matters more than ever. So, the tone of your voice.
What
What
is
do you
your
think?
Okay, so when it comes to tone, it's not just what you say. I think it's your body language, it's your facial expressions. They all are tone because what 90% of our communication is with our bodies in reality. Because we can be sarcastic and it's kind of jokey, but if you don't know how to be sarcastic with your body and your facial expressions, it comes off as being an asshole. So I think it's all intertwined.
Yeah, I
An example is like Okay, I like to skydive. I've been 6 times. If I bring this up, if they ask me a question like, "Oh, are you adventurous? Like, what's something you like to do?" And I say, "Oh, I love to skydive. I don't do it often, but at a point, I wanna get my A license."
So if I say, "Oh my god, I hate skydiving," are you freaking crazy?
That would be a bad tone and timing.
Yes.
It's better to, especially in the first dates, just let that person have their own adventures and what they if don't ever go against what if you ask them a question, don't go against what they say is something that they want to do or do
Right.
with
So
an adventure.
so then Joel, I can be like, "Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to try skydiving.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not going to because I don't want to kill myself right now." Is that a good answer?
It's good and you laughed. See, you're using you're using extra things and your face turned into an emoji.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yes, I would say that's playful. It's also like I haven't done it yet. That's a big thing for me is when I haven't done something, even though I may never do it, I will use the phrase, I haven't done that yet. Yet. So that leaves the door open for me to try something,
Right.
even though
Absolutely.
it's not on my radar to do that. Like I've never knitted a sweater. Well, I haven't done that yet.
Wow, never do that.
But if someone was a knitter and I wanted to be in a relationship with them, and that was like
You're gonna learn how to knit?
that was a time,
Okay.
like, quality time together, I'd make the most badass sweater I could.
Okay, fine. Well, I think, for me, tone, I have to watch out for my tone and my facial expressions. I try to make sure, but most of my dates are very, very happy. Like I'm very super positive and my facial expressions are probably smiling the whole entire time, but I'm actually thinking like, "Oh my god, this is not a good date." But I think in a first time date, it is very important that your tone, the way you speak to someone, the way you answer someone in a way where it's positive is super important for the date to go well.
Yes. Do you feel that your facial expressions being smiley and nice leads the guy to believe that you're
Yes.
into him more
Yes.
than
Yes.
you really are?
And I feel bad because a lot of the guys that ask me for second dates, and of course I ghost them, as you know from the last episode, which I'm going to get
You
better.
haven't not ghosted them yet.
No, okay, I'm gonna get better on that.
You see how
But they always ask me, "Oh my gosh, you were so happy and we had such a great time. Why are you not responding?" So I m- I'm on the complete other spectrum where I'm super nice, super happy, super smiley, and they have no idea. So my tone and my facial expressions are always, always happy. And so I need to kind of change that. My best friend always tells me that I'm way too nice and I got to learn how to be a little bit more meaner and try to learn what's it called? What is it called? The
resting bitch face?
resting bitch face. I don't know how to do the resting bitch face. I got to learn that. My best friend's a pro at that, by the way, and I'm gonna learn it from her. I'm gonna learn it from her.
There are classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the rec
Okay,
center.
well, I'm gonna have to probably pay her for it, but I'm gonna learn it from her because she has the most beautiful resting bitch face.
Yeah, and I think this day and age, guys will take any any show of affection because walk into a bar, walk into a restaurant, and if you if you get a smile from a girl, that is like they've just opened the door,
Yes.
and every guy thinks, "Man, she wants me to talk to her," versus me over here is just I'm just smiling because I can't not smile.
No, I don't know what else to do because they're constantly laughing with me. I don't know how to not be. So my tone is always happy, which is not good sometimes because I'm having an awful time, but I'm still happy.
Well, that leads I mean, we're not gonna talk about it, but that's part of setting boundaries,
Yes. Right.
allowing people into your space and maybe too personally
Mm,
on the first date is, because 'cause you're just being yourself and you're opening the door. They just don't get it.
no.
And at that point, you have to set the boundary, you know, it by moving their hand off your leg or, saying, "No, thank you. I'm not gonna kiss you on the first date."
Yep.
Like, being verbal in that, you can still be nice about it, but just set those boundaries because those are important for guys to hear. We want that. We don't
You
want
wanna hear that I don't wanna kiss you on the first date? I think I did
I
tell you that.
I think we wanna hear, like, your explanation,
Uh-huh.
potentially, but no guy, unless they're just a weirdo, wants to walk into a situation and then after be told, "That was my
That
god, you
was
made me
inappropriate.
so weird."
Yes.
Well, I
Like,
didn't mean to make it weird or which is I'm not talking about me, girls. I never make it weird.
I'm kidding.
That's
I'm kidding.
I will keep my mouth shut
You
about you.
should. You should. Definitely. Definitely. Okay. Well, let's move on. I want to do some fun questions. Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
So, text me or call me when you're apologizing.
I think call apologizing.
Call.
Yep. Unless you need it for the court and you need documentation. I'm just kidding.
What about
What about you? What's your call? An
one
apology.
apology?
Or
Oh,
in person. Let's
so let me tell you, I have the hardest time apologizing if I don't feel sorry. If I don't feel sorry, I cannot, the words I'm sorry does not come out of my mouth.
well, in that situation, it's like, hey, I can see it from your perspective. I
Uh-huh.
understand how that hurts your feelings.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm gonna remember in the future. I think
Right.
it's not saying you're sorry, but it is saying,
So I would
I
rather text on that.
I think it's up to the time that
Yeah.
you have spent with that person.
Absolutely.
If you're in a relationship, like,
Right. But
it's
when
in their
you're in like a
face.
new beginning relationship, like you've gone on 3 dates,
Yeah.
I think for
A
me,
text is okay.
text is okay. What about flirting? If you're gonna flirt with them, do you wanna text them or call them or do both or what?
I think both.
Mhm.
I don't think you do one or the other independently and stay in that lane.
Yeah,
And
so
guys,
what would you consider flirting on text?
are we talking emojis here?
No,
Oh,
no emojis allowed.
there's a good way to text where you can keep a girl's interest as
Mhm.
well as the guys.
What?
It could be simple as you wanna entice them, you wanna kinda hook them.
Mhm.
So you can say, "Hey, can you do something for me?" And
Mhm.
stop there.
Really?
And yeah, just stop there until they text back. What can
Ah.
I do? Like
Mhm.
because it's curiosity. Now you're curious. Like what is he gonna ask me to do?
Okay.
And you may say something like, "Hey, I'm at work right now. Can you just like get out of my head for a second?
Oh, okay,
I
that's
need to
heck.
finish this
That's,
presentation."
you know what? I might be a good flirter. Is that a word? Flirter? Flirter? A good flirter in person, but I am not a good flirter texting. I don't know how to flirt on text. If any guy has tried to flirt with me on text, I'm sorry because I did not get it. I know. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Okay, what about making plans? Is that definitely a text or a phone call?
It depends on how far the relationship is, but the first date, I wanna text, "Hey," and set up a phone call. On the
Mhm.
phone call, you can even say it in the text, "Hey, let's call, let's chat, and then we can set the date up on the call."
Okay, so
You
text
know?
first and then call. Okay.
And then come back to text with the detail.
Okay.
"Hey, here's the restaurant, here's the Google, if you're not gonna pick them up, or
Whatever it
would you
is.
like me to pick you up?
Yeah.
I'm kind of old fashioned."
Mhm.
Then you can say, "You wanna provide me your address tomorrow? When it's time, I'll message you or call you."
Okay.
And then
So
you
it's
go
a
from there.
both.
You just kinda depends on the the comfort level of the person. Because some people, yeah, I wanna be picked up.
What
Some
about
people wanna
disagreements?
I don't
Like
think
if
you should be
like and well,
disagreeing.
there's some times where I've seen it on some of the the groups on Facebook that I follow and I see some disagreements on there where it's their second or third date and
That's a bad sign.
I know. I'm like, if you have a disagreement that early on,
Then you have 2 opposing people that
yeah, no, it's not gonna work.
it may be passionate later, like and you may have had an amazing first date, and maybe y'all crossed the line and you're like, "Damn, it was good." But your personalities, well, that's still toxic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go there.
You're right.
I wouldn't go there
Us
personally.
neither. Me neither. Okay, say this, not that. So,
Say
what
this
are
one.
some examples of say this, not that? Oh,
I would say the awkward
mhm.
phrases. What is an awkward phrase to you?
I guess like for me, if something is wrong with me, or if I'm not in the mood and I'm not smiling like my normal self or happy somebody says, "What's wrong with you?"
That's good.
I don't like that phrase. What's wrong with me? I think there's a different way to say that.
Yeah,
Instead of asking me what's wrong with me, why don't you say, how was your day? I think once that comes out that way, like I'd be able to, or more inclined to answer what is actually wrong.
yeah,
If somebody says, "What's wrong with you?" Like in that tone and that phrase, I think that is something completely different. And I really don't like that. So
yeah.
I
That
think saying, "How was your day? Did anything eventful happen?" I think it will always come out.
yeah. This one, man. These are not just first date
Hmm.
communication
Yeah.
skills. These are things you should keep with you all the time.
And I don't think we can talk about communication skills in dating life, but I think this is everyday life too,
Yeah.
right?
And you say this all the time, me. You're the same person from the beginning
Yeah.
that you're going to get in the relationship.
Right.
Adopt if you want to adopt these skills, keep them with you. Don't fake it.
Hmm.
I know in the last episode we talked about faking certain things or being how love bombing can be
Yeah.
fake and people portray themselves as one thing and then they turn into another or they it's gaslighting in something
Right.
in a way as well. Just be yourself. And if you're shitty, then heal first and learn. So when someone uses a phrase, like you said, it's a reflection of them.
Right.
And basically their ego, and this is my opinion, their ego kicks in and they're looking for you to be the version that you always are. And
Hmm.
when you're different, they're like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this version of the person. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you today?
Yeah.
And different people can respond to that differently. If a guy and a girl both say that to each other, then they're good with it. And
Right.
that's okay. You can be that direct.
Mhm.
What's wrong with you? You're not being yourself. But I like your phrase. I would say the safe bet in that is just go with the route that's the safest in the sense it's if you could say it to your mom, you know,
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah.
probably safe.
Then it's probably safe,
Yeah.
but I would never say what's wrong with you. I would always ask you, "How was your day?"
Yeah.
And how, was it eventful? Was something good? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
That's how I would go about saying that. And then if you start a sentence to be honest, I don't like that either.
Well, you're already giving a negative or saying the words, hey, don't get mad.
Right. To be honest, like, why? Just tell me. Why do you have to be honest about something?
Are
Aren't you
you
honest?
not honest? It's
Yeah.
like it's like Chick-fil-A's method, right?
Hmm.
My pleasure versus no worries.
Right.
You know, no worries. I didn't know that was a worry or not a no problem. Well,
What
what
was the
was the
problem?
problem?
Right.
I wanted the chicken nuggets.
Right. Yeah. So never start a sentence with to be
Yeah.
honest or you
Don't
know,
be mad.
yeah, don't be mad because you're already manifesting.
Or even this, and some people think they should. I have to tell you something. Just say it.
Just tell me.
Why are you telling me that you have to tell me something? Just
Right.
tell me.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm about to you could start with, hey, this may be a hard conversation, but I think it needs to be said.
I think another thing is that when people say, "I don't do drama." In the relationship, like in a date, I've had guys tell me, "I don't do any drama." I'm like, "Okay, well, what kind of drama have you already had?" So I think there's a different way to say I don't do drama, right?
Yeah, like I live my life in in a space of positivity.
Right. Or I live in
I want a peaceful life, or I do
yes,
live in a peaceful
yes,
my I love my energy being peaceful,
Yes, instead of
or
I don't do drama.
I don't do drama.
Right.
So it's just a play on words, guys and girls.
Right. So let's talk about communication red flags in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I don't know. I know some 80-year-olds that are single, so we're going to talk to them too.
Yeah.
But communication red flags. Let's talk about first in texting, right? Like
Okay.
one word text,
One word texts, hours between texts when you know that they have their phone with them constantly
or they've
because
posted on Instagram
or they
already.
posted on Instagram or they posted something to yeah.
Huh?
Not that you're stalking it, but you're not dumb and you see it.
Right, you're not stalking it, but you see it,
You
and you're
see
like,
it.
"Okay, well, why can't aren't they thinking about me?" So or, another thing that I really cannot stand is the thumbs up emoji. I just cannot do the thumbs up emoji. I don't know what it is about the thumbs up emoji. I just don't like it. Just tell me okay or I like it or
I don't like the okay emoji.
what's the okay emoji? Oh, really? I've never gotten that.
Well, you're gonna get it now.
Oh, Lord, please don't do that.
Come on.
No, do not do the thumbs up. Yeah.
I think if you do this in the screen, it'll give you a thumbs up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's do a thumbs up then. Or what about text? Like, you text them and say, hey, let's go do something this weekend. I made reservations at this place. And they respond with, I can't. And that's
Yeah,
it.
I think I mentioned this before, but if you, as a guy or a girl, if you make the move to say, "Let's meet up. What are you
Mhm.
doing this weekend? Which night's free?" and they say, "I'm busy all weekend," you could be like, "Okay, great. Well, let me know when you
Mhm.
are available.
Right.
I'm available next Wednesday." And
Right.
leave it at that. And then I have a rule 2 times, and then after that I don't.
Right.
Honestly, if you don't recommend a day or have the ability to squeeze me in, this is an unsaid thing as well. Don't say, "Oh, I'm just so busy." But then what are you doing? What are you doing on the app if you're so busy?
Right.
Are you just looking for the gratification of the dopamine hit?
Well, we've already discussed that. That's
So
what we
that
do.
it just don't don't even initiate the conversation.
Right. I completely agree.
So 2 times, I give 2 times asking.
I think that's smart. You're giving two
And if
chances.
you don't recommend a day,
Hmm.
then you're never gonna I'm not gonna ask again because you're not valuing my time,
Right.
my effort, and I'm not coming on strong. I'll give space between those asks. I'll wait till after the weekend, and say the next week, "Hey, I'm available this Wednesday. Were you able to check?" Or
Right.
something like that. Like, "No, I'm actually not, but you know what? This is what you want to hear. But no, hey, Thursday night or about Saturday.
Okay.
I'm actually free Saturday."
Yeah, I think that's great. You are?
This Saturday night? Yes. Yes, I'm free this Saturday.
No, you're not.
What? I thought you're gonna do that thing with the thing.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're not free. You're gonna stay at home and
Yeah, I'm gonna stay at home.
I know you are.
I got,
You got things to do.
I gotta wash my underwear.
Yeah. So what other red flags in communication?
Uh, the yes, no answers,
Mhm.
even though maybe it's an open-ended question,
Right.
their inability to be an effective question asker.
That's a word.
Asker?
Oscar?
That's a weird word, but
It is. I think it
it
might
may
be a
not be.
word. I have to ask my mom. My mom's an
Um,
English major.
but,
Why?
like, if you're leading and carrying the conversation
Mhm.
and they're not
Reciprocate?
reciprocating in that
Yeah.
way by asking you interesting questions or trying to get to know you, that's terrible communication. I
Right.
mean, it may be good to them, like, and maybe they're being shy, but that's not the time to be shy,
Right.
you know?
Right.
It just really is not. But keep that in consideration. If the person does say, "Hey, I'm actually shy," just please bear with me.
Right.
You know, I don't agree with that statement personally. I think that's putting negativity out in the universe. Whatever your brain is, you're looking for confirmation.
Right.
So if you say you're a negative, if you say you're a shy person, then you're going to be a shy person. If you say, I'm really working toward um, being more outgoing, that
Then
means
you're
I'm a
going
little shy, but I
I'll
want
be
to be outgoing. I'm outgoing. And then you tell yourself that. Quit using the negative connotations on yourself or identifying because of social dynamics that drive that being shy or reserved is a negative.
Right.
Sometimes just own it and say, you know what, I'm really reserved. I love to listen.
So I think on first dates for me in communication and green flags for me is being positive. I think a lot of my friends and my family know that I'm a super positive person. And so I think I expect that same energy from the guy that I go out with, which, not everybody can be like this, but I expect the same positive energy. And I think once you I think if you manifest it and say today's going to be a good day, I feel like if I say that I'm gonna have a great day. But if you say, "Oh my god, today's gonna be such a sucky day. The weather is awful outside and traffic is awful. It's just gonna be a crappy day." Well, guess what? You'll have a crappy day too. So same thing with dating. I think we should go in there with a positive attitude, no matter the situation. If the person's an introvert or extrovert, you'll have a great time. That's why all the guys that I go out with, even though I'm not interested during the date, they have a great time because I manifested that positive energy. But green flags, positivity is super important.
Yes. And tying back into other things,
Mhm.
curiosity is very important to me.
Yes.
If someone wants to truly get to know me, that's a big green flag. And then remember that
When
you said something. Maybe you said it in passing and you didn't even identify it as like a big thing. But let's just imagine, you're coming on the date and part of your daily story was, yeah, I lost a headphone today, but it's okay. They were kind of old and I was
Yeah,
looking to get a new pair. And then your birthday's a month later and you just haven't done it yet. Let's just say that person remembered those little details.
right.
That's what hits me. It's like, wow, you
I
remembered
love
that?
that.
You
Yeah,
remembered that
I
little
think that's
bitty
so
thing? And not don't be opposed to this, guys. You have a note feature in your contact list. Okay. This is just I know I deal with my memory. I mean, I
mhm,
was in the Marine Corps and that's something I've carried with me, which is like my memory loss and it's just the small little things. And I know that that's a crutch. And I just said, don't put that on yourself. What I've done is added effective tools to my life to counter that physical thing that happens.
right,
So I know it to be true because it's repetitive. I can tell myself every day, don't forget, but it tends to happen sometimes. So I put safeguards in. I'll leave a date and make little notes.
right.
They have 3 kids and their names are boom, boom, boom. And it helps me remember that. Oh, they love their dog.
I
They're
love that.
really into their animals, you
I'll
know?
have to do that. I have
Um,
a great memory.
and so if you struggle with that, knowing that, utilize the tools you have
I
to remember the little details. Like, oh, they said they went to, a certain college. It's just nice and it shows them that
I
you
think it's
you
really
care.
important for a man to remember the small things for a woman.
Yeah,
And I think it's the same for men too,
it
to
is.
learn about the little things or about their likes and dislikes and remembering those likes and dislikes,
Yeah.
right?
But don't go into a date on an interview or a LinkedIn like business
Yeah.
and what are you working on now that you know that you find is just so interesting.
I never ask the guy what they do. I always, what I tell them is what I want is somebody that's driven and somebody that is wanting to grow and be determined and somebody that wants to be better than yesterday. That's what I want in a guy. They're the ones who ask me what I do, which is weird, but that I don't ever ask them. All I want is somebody driven.
Do you have, I don't know, I think I know your
Mhm.
answer,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to project that.
Yeah.
But do you have men who just freely give up information about
Oh, yeah.
themselves
Yes.
and like what they do, how like
Oh my
their
god.
guys, listen to me.
Yes.
Stop. Stop telling women how much money you make. Stop telling women what
Car you
car
drive.
you drive or the brand of your pants, how much you paid for them. It sounds braggy, it's douchey, and when they go out with me, guys, after you, they tell me. that my god, I cannot believe he tried to win me over with his bank account.
Yeah.
And I know I'm gonna hear, well, that's women want this or that. No, there's a segment of every population that wants to use people, right? Weed those people out in the beginning. I'm talking about truly good people that are just looking for a connection here.
Mhm.
Like, let's not get in the weeds with the gold diggers or whatever, sugar babies and stuff like that. Okay. I'm not talking about those. Those exist, but that is
I
not,
think it's really important that for me, it's a turn off to let me know that this is what you have. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm glad that you're successful, but you can tell that story without saying that story. You can say it. You can talk about how smart you are and what kind of degree you have and this is what you did to earn it or whatever it is. You don't have to mention how much your car cost or what kind of car you drive or whatever, or you have a driver or you live in a penthouse or whatever. And this is
yeah.
all the stories that I've gotten from people, by the way.
Like, it's better to downplay it and then let them see it
Yes.
in reality
Yeah.
without you having to say it. So,
But because we're going to know anyway, eventually. It's just, I think for the right person, like me, like I don't care. I don't want to hear about that.
yeah,
It's not impressive.
this is something as a kid, like
Hmm.
growing up, I had to overcome because I had 6 other siblings. So you had to kind of stand out just to be heard. And it carried kind of with me into my teen years. I recognized it and I got told it like, look, you don't have to tell me how much, like, how good you are.
Right.
Right. And so I took that advice and I ran with it. And I dated someone and they told me, the smartest person in the room is not always the person talking the most.
Right.
And I love to talk. So I had to take that and they did it in a nice way. They kind of told me, hey, you kind of talk a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, and I took it, I didn't take it in my ego. I took it as, you know what? This is a challenge that I'm going to accept to be a better listener and a better communicator and ask more questions.
Joel, I think I'm the best communicator.
Don't brag.
I am.
Don't brag.
I think I've told you everything.
I think I've told you
No,
everything.
no, I'm the best communicator. I'm just letting you guys know,
All right,
everybody
guys.
out there.
This was a skit. Don't do what me just said. Okay. Where she busted on me when I affirmed her and that I did the same. I feel like I did the same thing. Don't say no, you didn't.
Sure.
Don't use the words always, never, and forever.
Yes, you're right.
The always and never, forever words. Just eliminate those.
Yep, let's do
This
it.
is more relationship time.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
you never buy me flowers. Never.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I
right,
will never do it again.
right.
I'm just joking, but like I'm just using an example. You know, uh,
But it's super important that we use the right words, we use the right tone, we
yeah,
have the right facial expressions, especially on first dates.
we're puppy dog girls.
Yes.
Men are dogs. We're puppy dogs.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm
When
glad
you
that
get
you
home,
noticed that.
come up and pat us.
Wanna pet you.
Tell us it's good to see you, boy. I
Well,
mean, this is
no.
a joke, but in reality, it's kind of the same way you approach your animal. Don't treat us like animals right away. But example, you train a dog, you give them treats when they do good things. So if a guy doesn't open the door all the time to a restaurant or to your car, but
Yeah,
that's something you want, you need to communicate that
I'm gonna communicate
that you
that.
want that. And when he does it, don't say, "Whoa, you never do that. Good job." Cut the never. Just say, "You know what? Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
doing that.
Thank you, and
That really made
acknowledging
my
it.
day."
Yes,
That that's so sweet. Acknowledging when they do make the effective changes and
right,
not point out, "Oh, it took me telling you."
right.
What?
Yeah,
You're just
exactly,
gonna run him down. You don't beat
exactly.
a dog when he comes back.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed our communication talk. I hope that our listeners have learned something. I know that during this podcast, I've learned something,
Ooh,
but I want to, go back to those rapid fire
all
questions,
right, all
Joel.
right, all right.
I need to know what you were
Okay.
thinking, because we all think of different things when we were doing rapid fire because I would have thought something completely different. So, I said black or white and
Black.
you said black.
Um,
What were you thinking?
I was thinking like a color that I would wear.
Okay.
I
Well, you
never
wanna
wear
wear
white. I always wear black.
Okay, okay.
And maybe in a future podcast, I'll tell you why.
Okay, fine.
That's a interesting reason why I always wear black.
Okay, what about fast or slow? You said
Fast.
fast.
I was thinking cars, fast cars. I don't want a slow car. I'd rather have a fast car
Okay.
in my face.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't
Okay.
want anyone entering my space and being
Mm,
like spitty.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
wow,
Okay.
like
Mine was
calm
completely
down.
different on what you were thinking. Okay, what'd you say, soft or hard?
I said hard, and that was my penis. I mean, I was thinking I'd rather be hard than soft. I told you I went dirty. I did. My brain went to dirty.
God, my mom's watching
I'm
this.
sorry. Okay, my muscle.
Okay, thank you.
Still a muscle.
Oh God. Hands or mouth? And you said, what'd you say?
I said hands.
Okay.
I was thinking, and let me think about that because I was something around eating.
Well, that's the mouth too,
Yeah, that's a combo. I don't know why. Like
Oh, you don't know why?
hands or mouth,
Yeah, hands or mouth.
and I said hands.
Yeah.
I guess the part of that's like working. Like I've worked with my hands my whole
Okay.
life, and so
You
it was
automatically
like I
thought
was
that.
thinking about eating and cooking. Like I like working with my hands, so like
Yeah.
making food, like cooking a dinner, instead of verbalizing it and ordering something. So
Okay.
I would rather do it. I'm a creator in a lot of spaces, right?
Okay.
And so I love my hands to be creative.
Okay. What about in or out?
I said in.
What are you talking about?
I was thinking like a night in or night out,
Okay.
and I thoroughly enjoy a night in, especially with a person that I want to spend time with. Cooking a nice dinner, having a great conversation.
I like that.
You know,
Okay.
if I was going to choose, it'd be like a rainy night, kind of chilly. Like I love those kind of nights.
Okay. Snuggled up.
Is
Yeah.
in a movie after a
Yeah.
good dinner.
That sounds like a great,
I'd
great
take me
night.
out.
Okay. Back or front? What'd you say?
I said back. And I like to do a back workout. I like back works out. I literally was thinking about my lats.
Okay. Sorry. Small or big? What'd you say?
Big,
Okay, what?
a big personality.
Man, you're so good. You know that? Okay,
Like,
great. Big personality. Up or down?
what did I say?
I can't remember.
I
Up?
said down.
Did you say down?
Shit, is that the last one?
No.
I can't remember what I said up or down.
Okay, well, pick right
I
now.
think I said down.
Okay, down what?
I don't know. Down the hole. Throw up.
Okay.
I'd rather it go down.
Watch or listen?
I said list. I said watch.
You said watch.
I said watch.
Yeah.
Visual. So I was thinking like I'd rather watch a movie than listen to something
Okay.
personally.
Good. Okay.
But I
Well,
also love to listen when I'm driving, so it's situational.
yeah. Well, now you ladies that like to watch our podcast know a little bit more about Joel.
They got nothing out of that.
I think
No,
they got a lot out of that. I got some stuff out of that. I mean, obviously you have more of a cleaner mind than a dirty mind. So
I did.
that's a good thing.
I did have the one dirty one.
That's only
That
one.
was about me. So
Okay,
that's not
fine.
dirty. I don't have dirty words either.
No.
I told you that. I don't believe in curse words. There's no bad words. They're just adult. They all have their place.
Okay, I just gave you the dirty look.
Okay.
I just learned. Did you see my face?
You did it.
I did the bitch face, guys.
Do it again. Move the mic. That's not a bitch face. That's a pouty lip. Come and get me, daddy. Face. What are you talking about? Don't you dare do that to a man.
I don't know how to do it then. I'm sorry. I don't know how to do it. Well, you know what? I think this episode was a very
It was productive for sure.
yeah, very productive and I actually learned something from
Yeah.
it.
And, kind of a call to action, guys. I think we're on to something here. Would love to get your support. Give us a follow and share the podcast. if you find someone might be interested in it, or even if they're not, just force it upon them. That would be my motive. Just go with that. So you can support us by following, engaging with us, asking questions. We will be getting to a point where we're going to do this live, and we'll have a interactive chat. So that's exciting. That's going to be
Or we
coming
might
up.
invite specific people
Yeah,
onto the show. That would be great.
we'll do a live question and answer segment for live um, interaction. So that's coming. And, you know, we want to support you guys. So sending in topics that you might want to hear is a way that you can do that, be part of the show, because without you guys, we're talking to ourselves, which is fine because we enjoy that as well. And I hope y'all know, like when we talk, and I've done this for over a year now, I've always said I'm literally giving you what I'm feeling
Mm.
and what I'm focused on and working on at the same time may be something that I struggle with that I'm learning, but
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there as a positive thing that I effectively communicate. Maybe that's an area that I am still working, but I'm just saying without you guys, we enjoy just giving ourselves that space to, you know, learn.
Entertain and communicate and learn. And we love suggestions and we love ideas. We love feedback. So we would love and appreciate all the follows, listen to our Spotify, download the episode would be great. But
It,
most of all, I'm going to go into something serious is we hope that I know that we're being funny sometimes or we're being um
dirty.
dirty or whatever it is, but we want you guys to take something away from it. And every episode and the past 2 episodes, I've learned something from it. I just want to put it out there that I'm going to stop ghosting. So it's something that our purpose is for you to take away something from our episodes.
I agree. I agree.
Hmm.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
just a reminder, if you're just coming from Spotify or Apple, we are at Post Nut Clarity, one word, period, podcast on Instagram and TikTok. As well, if you're just coming from social media, we are at Apple, Amazon, and Spotify, where there's video and you get to see our pretty faces. And we are just Post Nut
My pretty.
Clarity, your pretty face, my handsome debonair.
Okay. I'm going to give you the dirty look. Did I do it?
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
Super
great.
dirty.
I did it. I did it.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Until next time.
Until next time. See you later.